Hello. Hello. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? Can y'all hear me okay? Hello. Yes, I know that's right. Hi, Duana. Hi, Iraki. I know that's right. I'm about to start soon. It's late, guys. Okay. And I haven't been feeling too hot. Make sure everybody in the room likes the video. Like the video, child. I haven't been feeling too hot, man. The weather is really shitty here in Toronto. Like we're at getting that like freezer cap kind of weather in the lows. And when you got a kid at school, you always keep catching things. So honestly, I had to really push through today. And I was just like, you know what? No, I gotta keep to my word and do this video. So I'm here. It's not too bad. I just have like a nasty cough. So I'm just letting y'all know if you guys hear me have like a like cough and it sounds disgusting, then forgive me. I'm just fighting the winter cold and braving the winter here in Toronto. What time is it here? It is actually 11:10. 11:10. So we're gonna catch 11:11. Did it snow a lot there? It did last weekend. It snowed a lot. Um, but it melted just as fast. But we were supposed to be. All right, I think we already got that. Like it was like we had like 10 centimeters and we had 25 centimeters of snow. So now that the snow has fallen, and yes, the roads are better, it's getting colder. So like we're getting into the negatives. So like negative 12, it feels like negative 25 with the windshield, like that kind of cold weather. So no, Toronto, we have the same time as like New York. Like New York and I, we have the shirt at the same time. So you might see me with some tissues. You might see me have like a little cough, a little horse cough going on here, child. But forgive me for that, okay? So we're gonna get into the end of the month recap for January. So this is how the lives are gonna work. Like I mentioned before, I'll be doing lives every 2 weeks. Okay, usually on a Saturday, Sunday. It all depends. I'm gonna let you know when I actually get on, and we'll read on everything that's happened every half of the month, so to speak. All right. So let's get into it. I thought I left my lip gloss here. Yes, I did. Okay, so let's open up a prayer. I thought I had my lip gloss closed. I didn't. Oh. All right, Lord Jesus, give you all the praise and the glory, God. I pray, God, in the name of Jesus, and thank you for all the greatness that happens in our life in Jesus' glorious name. And I pray that you uplift every single person in this room, God. And I pray that there is a covering over this space and place in Jesus' glorious name. I pray there's not a single stitch of darkness that I'm able to enter, whether it be through the readings or anybody in the name of Jesus that would be carrying any energies of any sort in Jesus' glorious name. As you know, once you open a portal, that is a free for all for anything to come through. So we pray, God, in the name of Jesus, that everybody in this room right now that is watching this reading and me reading on people, that this room is protected from any evil in the name of Jesus. As you're the King, Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and your love reigns supreme, God. We will always give worship to you, Lord, in the name of Jesus. And we pray you put a covering again, cover, God, and bring wisdom, God. And please give me the insight and the revelations to be able to bring forth clear messages, truthful messages in the name of Jesus, and understanding for what could come ahead, for what is coming ahead, so people know how to navigate the next steps. Amen. Hey. All right. So we're starting off hot and strong. We're starting off with the ice raids. So as you guys know, you guys seen that I've been doing candles lately. If you guys watch any of my earlier videos that I did, my earlier vlogs, I went to go see Our Lady of Lords. Okay. When I got my crowning, it was very stated to me that, you know, I will be put in the position of being able to help others or be called to the front line to assist when called to, right? And I was kind of like, yeah, no. You know what I mean? Because before I was crowning or got crowned, you know, there was times that you would get like hitbacks, kickbacks, stuff like that. I'll be like, hell no, I'm not trying to do any of that. You know what I mean? But when I get assigned or I get called to help or protect the people, you know what I mean? I do it. And this is the first time, I think the last two things that I've seen that I'm going to talk on today is the ice raids, as well as something that's been going on with City with the Black Boys have been on this in, where I've offered my spiritual guidance or my channel to help. I'm not talking channel as this channel. I mean, my channel is in my channel to help and assist in the situation. So I had some people message me and be like, okay, can you do a candle for this on this situation? And I'm like, no. Like it's what I'm called to do. And usually when it comes to me, I'm there to protect the people, to protect the vulnerable, and protect those that need help. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's not my call to say how it happens, other than what I'm doing, what I'm being called to do. You know what I mean? So yeah. So with the ice rays and what I see what's going on with that, if you guys see then the last reading that I did, it's funny because I didn't want it to come off as insensitive when I was looking back at it in the last reading. But I did predict from what it looked like was the Alex Purdy situation. You know, he was agitating. I don't care what nobody says. Nobody deserves to fucking die. I don't care how agitating you are. I don't care if you do this or you do that. Yeah, he'll kick cars, do things. You could tell that he was angry and stuff like that, but I don't think that this is a man that was going to do anyone any actual fucking harm. You know what I mean? I think that he definitely wanted to protect himself and be able to have, because he does have a stand of ground law. I understand that when it comes to ICE, ICE is federal at the end of the day. So I don't know if that law, so to speak, still applies when it comes to stand your ground. Obviously, it doesn't against any agent that's a federal. You know what I mean? So I guess it does not apply. What I see with the Alex Purdy situation, I definitely see, and I think it's been reported already, that his family is going to go ahead and get a settlement. But I know that they just posted a video of him. And this is where I said, I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? The whole innocent persona that was projected, but then they tried to smear his name or show another video of him actually being aggressive with ICE officers earlier, in an earlier video, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like there's gonna try to be a little bit of a smear campaign. I actually do get the sense that there's gonna be something commemorate that's gonna happen within the community. But like I said this before, and I said this in my 2026 reading, like just as quickly as something's gonna happen, you're gonna see another fight. Hi, Aaron. Something else happens. So of course you see how Trump was like so on the ice raids and focusing on like his infantry and invading different countries, and of course his opinion on ice raids and things like that. It's like before we could turn our head and focus on that, there's another fire brewing up behind us, which the Epstein files get released. You know what I mean? So I do definitely feel like there's going to be justice that will prevail on that situation. I do see that they're going to end up living in Minnesota. I'm going to be honest, by March or April, I feel like the whole ICE situation is going to be put to a halt. And the reason why I say this, again, because it goes back to what happens to Donald Trump, him and his impulsive decisions and making these very expensive, impulsive decisions. It's too expensive to keep them on the road. I don't think they anticipated the amount of resistance they were going to get that they have been getting, and it's just costing too much money, too much time, too much energy on keeping it going. So I feel like after March, to be honest, you're going to see a lot of ICE agents be pulled away. And I think they're going to be more concentrated on making it harder for different countries to migrate to the US other than actually worry about getting them deported. Yes. I know you live in Minneapolis. Yeah. It's a whole thing, man. I just feel honestly like I don't think any of these things were well thought out. I think that these things were it was what was the most that came out of it was knowing that it can actually be done. Not actually strategically thinking about how are we going to go about something like this and making this effective. This is not doing it for me. Okay, this got to go. Sorry, I tried to use one of my old candles from like something else and it went out. Like, because I have my Orishas on the east side right here. And like it went out. And I was like, that energy is just like getting at me. I'm like, no. Okay, now I feel myself again. Um, yeah, I just feel like it was just I'm gonna be honest, like everything, even when I was putting together like what I was gonna read on, the energy in itself was just so overwhelming. Like I literally feel like the last second half of January, we just got vomited on with so much shit. And it's like we don't even know which way to fucking turn. Yeah, Anai, you're from Minneapolis too. Like, I don't know where to fucking start with it. Because this is the most chaotic energy that I think I've ever had to read. And I've lived through a lot of shit, you know. Like I lived through SARS, I lived through COVID, I lived through fucking the Twin Towers being fucking struck. Like, you know what I mean? I thought I could say respectfully I've lived through a good amount of shit. And this energetical cycle, this I can't even say this clump, this ugh, that we're going through, and this hump that we're going through this last second half has been the most energetically dense situation ever. You know what it feels like? It feels like literally taking a knife to assist and like you didn't anticipate that like all this shit was gonna come out of that wound. And now fucking there's all this guck all over your face. And you're just like, okay, now how do I clean this off? How do I clean this shit off without actually accepting to myself or realizing that like really so letting it set in that I literally have fucking pus all over my face. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel. The energy is it's like this shit is fucking crazy. And I'm talking from the perspective of being an American, right? This shit is fucking crazy. And I can't believe what's even going on. And what makes it worse is that the person that runs our country is connected to all this bullshit. What makes it fucking worse is I'm starting to see a lot of people. Listen, I'm loving it. The ones that are sitting there that voted for Trump, that are all sitting there regretting that they voted for him. Like when I say I'm talking about, like I'm sitting here like, holy shit, I've never seen this in the history of my life. Like it's to the point that we're moving into a phase, and I talked about this in my 2026 prediction. There's no hiding anymore. They're so quiet. So quiet. There's no more hiding anymore. There's no more hiding. Like pieces of shit will be seen for pieces of shit. Good will be seen for good. In between will be seen for in between. There's no more hiding anymore. And it reminds me of the slogan, like they would always say, especially when it comes to the Illuminati and stuff like that. You remember when they would always, there's the slogan or the thing they always say is like, we're running out of time? Running out of time, child. Look at me fully. Sorry. Yeah, running out of time, child. Running out of time. So let's move on from ice raids. Listen, I feel like I've been talking about this particular person like this woman pays my rent. I've been talking about this lady like if she is the one that gives blood at the blood bank for the blood transfusions. Okay, not that I'm getting transfusions, but I'm just saying. I've been talking about this lady like if I'm gonna get me a gold card, the more I talk about her. But of course, we're gonna move into Nicki Minaj. First of all, Nicki Minaj and the Don Lemon situation. We're just gonna highlight this as Nicki Minaj. Okay. I know for a fact Nicki Minaj is behind why Don Lemon went to jail. If you see Nicki, okay, and if you're a person that reads pictures, because for me, as you guys know, a lot of you guys in the room have gotten a reading with me. You know what I mean? And you guys know that when it comes to me and how I do readings, I read a person's picture. You know what I mean? And based on me reading the person's picture, I'm able to see their aura and what's around them and all that good stuff. The most painful, the pictures from her going to see Donald Trump at that convention or whatever the fuck that was, and to Melania's movie premiere were the most painful pictures I've ever had to fucking look at. Nicki Minaj was giving young black girl that came from the hood that met a rich white guy. She's sleeping with him. And he's finally deciding to bring her out amongst his rich friends and introduce her to people. It was giving all of that. That's literally what it was giving. She looked so fucking awkward and out of place that I was actually shocked because Nicki Minaj usually and typically is a person that, you know, of course, in her own right and in her own industry, she has her own queendom, so she knows how to carry herself. You know what I mean? But over the years, I've been able to see Nicki Minaj in situations where, you know, the crowd was a little bit more upper echelon and she still knew how to hold her ground. You know what I mean? When it came to Nicki in these situations, she looked completely out of space. Okay. And this is why that is. Nicki knows that what she's doing is that she's putting on a whole act. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, you know what? Maybe, you know, she likes Trump or maybe she doesn't like Trump. She likes Harris or whatever the case may be. I don't even think that Nicki was a person that really gave a fuck much about politics at all. You know what I mean? Of course, a lot of us didn't. You know what I mean? But I think she will play the game as long as she can because she knows she's gripping on straws right now. And she needs it. You know what I mean? She knows right away and she can sniff in the room right away that she's looked at that everyone looks at her through their nose. You know what I mean? She's not stupid to what's happening or whatever the case may be. But I think she's at a space right now that she knows she's on Donald's good side and she's trying to exhaust that to the best of her ability. Donald Trump reminds me, back in the day, I used to work in sales, right? And it was like a boiler room type of situation where it was like we were working straight commission, we had to work hard, whatever the case may be, to make our money. But whenever we would like break a deal or whatever, would make our commission off of it, right? Like a good amount of commission. And I used to work for these two Jews. And wow, how am I gonna tell the story? I used to work for these two Jews. And in the workplace, it was like everybody tried to suck up to this guy. You know what I mean? It's like anytime they felt like he was giving them some kind of attention, it actually changed the whole status of how everybody else in the room or everyone around treated you because he showed you some kind of favoritism. Like even if he laughed at your jokes that day, it's like people will look at you different, like, okay, you got in with the good guy now, or you got in with the big guy now, so whatever. That's how Trump reminds me of. He reminds me of my ex-boss. Whenever you get close to him, he does bestow a lot of perks. You know what I mean? Like he's very generous in a lot of ways. The reason why I'm pausing, because it's like I don't want to have to see Donald Trump in the good side, good light right now at all. But I'm like, fuck, like I'm actually seeing the good light of him right now. You know what I mean? In the sense of like, okay, I can see where people could like him, you know? But he's very generous. He's gonna always make sure you're good. You know what I mean? The thing is with him is like he's very much a type of person that it's like he likes to do what works and what is for now and what's in the moment. You know what I mean? And as soon as he does not feel like you fit that mold anymore, he disposes of you really quick. And I want to say when it comes to Trump, it's not even just like a disposal type of thing. It's like he leaves you in his stride. You know what I mean? And that's in a lot of ways how I feel Nikki is going to get betrayed. Is that she's going to leave him. He's going to leave her in his stride. And it's almost like I feel like leaving her outside to a pack of wolves. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta go. I got somewhere to go, whatever. And it's like, okay, you figure it out. Here you go. Not even leave you a freaking gun to say, okay, at least you have a couple bullets. Like, just leave you to figure it out on your own and go about your business. And that's when I feel like with Nicki Minaj, where she's gonna be left behind. And that's when I see the crumble happen for her, where she has that breakdown. You know what I mean? Because the way how everybody's going to turn on her, and well, they already have it, but when she's not in the shadow, right now she's in the shadow of Trump, she's protected. When she comes out of the shadow of Trump, she's going to really feel how cold outside is. Like, there's something about Donald Trump that when you're close to him, it feels warm. But when you're outside of that shit feels cold as fuck. And unfortunately, when it comes to Donald Trump, he always has a way of finding people that come around them that they have no choice but to need him. You know what I mean? So that's why when they're outside, they're cold. It's cold. Like, look at what happened with Omarosa. Omarosa was a reality star. She worked for the Trump administration, his first term. Everybody, yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So all this for a visa, yes. And whatever benefit she can get out of it, of course. She's selling her soul. She knows that she is. And she don't care. Because in her mind, it's like, who else is giving it to me? Nobody else is giving it to me. He is. But where did I leave off at? I was making a point here. Fuck. Omarosa. You know what I'm saying? She was so about Trump, believed in the whole thing, everything like that. When she started to see the truth and she left his administration, where do you hear about Omarosa? You hear nothing about her ever again. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, so funny. Jesus Christ. it kind of reminds me of that Epstein file energy where a lot of these girls that get roped in to all this shit. There's obviously this is actually deep. Okay. I remember one time there's something very psychological about, and it's funny how I made the reference of Wolf, right? There's something very psychological, there's psychological and calculated when it comes to men that are predators. I remember I was watching this documentary, and I don't want to get too much on topic because we're gonna actually get to the Epstein files. I was watching this documentary of this man, and he was telling the interviewer the play-by-play of how he would actually go after young boys to molest. He would be like, okay, one thing, he goes, what are things that you look for? He goes, okay, one of the things that I would look for is there a father around? You know what I mean? What's their home situation like? You know what I'm saying? Like, he would look for all aspects of vulnerability around the person, because if a person is vulnerable and they don't have strong boundaries around them, it makes it easier for them to be manipulated or be enticed by things. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Donald went looking for Nikki. You know what I mean? I think Nikki went to go pursue Donald. But I definitely see that there were certain things that Trump seen about Nicki Minaj that he was like, okay, you know what I mean? And I really feel like it could boil down to something as simple as somebody that is a public figure that is Black in current time, to kind of make his image look better, that he's being endorsed by her. You know what I mean? But I have a feeling that Don Lemon, that Nicki Minaj was behind the Don Lemon thing, and that's why it makes sense. It's kind of weird how I'm going through these, because I feel like it's like I'm confirming my last readings that I did. Why I seen Don Lemon really coming for her neck, coming up soon. Yes, he's gonna come for he's gonna keep it obviously very political of things that he wants to talk about, but he gonna really start coming for her neck. Okay, so that's what I see around Nikki. Any questions, guys? Because I see a few of y'all in here, but it's very quiet. So the gold card was just a souvenir. Yeah, of course it was. But at the same time, the way she wrote it, I feel like what she was trying to say is like, okay, like I'm on my role of doing my citizenship and things like that. She gonna get her citizenship though. She's gonna get it. But I don't think it's gonna really be like granted to her per se. Like she may get it like expedited in some way because of whatever. But I don't get it. It's that. How do her peers feel about her? Her peers? What peers? Listen, yo, did y'all see that wig that she had on? Her wig and her outfit that she wore to Melania's premiere tells you what her peers were about her. No one wants to, nobody. She got her peoples that hang around, especially those that hang around, and especially with her. I feel like she has a group of friends. They're connected to the son's, like to her son's dad, that may be around that still kind of support her and kind of have her back in many ways. You know what I mean? Because I feel like for her, she's trying to play a certain way, like, okay, well, this is what it is, or whatever the case may be. Um, but when it comes to like her team, like her beauty team, her stylist, the people that she had working for her before, hell no. She don't have the same team no more, child. And you could tell that wig she did on her own. When she went to the premiere, she had to literally wear those frontal bang wigs. You know what kind of wigs those are? Those are those like the wig she was wearing reminds me of those cheap wigs that you get at the hair store that already comes with the bang and you just have to pull it on. When you see how she looked and what she wore, she was wearing that because she probably had nobody that can actually fucking style her. That was the worst I've ever seen Nikki look on a red carpet or blue carpet. She looked a whole fucking mess. A whole Ross mess. But that's what you get for fucking with the gays, child. What were you thinking? Half of these hairstylists and weaveologists and all them that are in the industry are gay men that are styling these women. What do you think was going to happen to you, child? She don't listen to her team. But let me tell you something. The way she went up on that stage, the way she looked, her energy, her aura, and everything just screamed, oh my God, you are just licking boots to get what you want. You are just here, a Ross mess. Trust me. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, because what cheesed me a little bit too is that I kind of felt sorry for her a little bit. But I was like, what the fuck am I feeling? But I was low key kind of like, damn, Nikki. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, Nikki, you need to tell me to know what he wants to style you? Not one person. She looked a complete friggin' mess, child. Hey. And she's gonna continue looking a mess. Because you know already, once a gay boy start talking on your name, it's a wrap. They'll drag you by your frontal glue. Not even from your lace front, from the frontal glue that you have at the front of your head, they will drag you from that and take you to fucking hell. Like literally. So I don't know, man. Nikki should have known what she was doing there. But hey, to each his own, eh? She really wants that. She really wants that papers that bad. I'm like, damn, you want to be American that bad, bro? Wow. Hey, something I'm missing. I'm not gonna lie, I like America, but I was like, damn, you wanted to do all that to stay in America? Jeez Louise. I'm like, you could be like Tina Turner child. Tina Turner moved to Europe. You know what I mean? Where does she live again? Where did Tina Turner live? Did she move to Belgium or Switzerland? Lived in Switzerland, toured Europe for years, made beer money. More money than she was even making in the US and lived her good, best good up life. Yeah, she does. That's what happens though. That's what happens. She did. What did Little Kim say again? My apologies. Yeah, she lived her best damn life. Was making the bag. Don't mind me, guys. I'm a little out too. So I don't know. I've been saying that I feel like coming up next week. If it's not next week, it's a week after next. I just see Don Lemon's hands on fire, and he's rubbing his hands together, and he got a pen in his fucking hand, and he's writing up something vicious. Y'all about to see something in journalism like you've never seen before. So, like I said, Nikki should have fucked with this guy because I don't think she's ready for what's about to come. Anyways, we're gonna move right along. She will see in time, due time, that how she really was. She's not how she really thinks she is. Yeah, yeah, he gonna make lemonade. Who? And that's the thing that Nikki doesn't seem to understand. I understand. Let me tell you something. You could be brave all you want. You see what I'm saying? You could shoot off your mouth all you want. But one thing that Don Lemon is that Nikki isn't is smart. He sits back. He uses his head. She's not using hers. Nikki's good at playing games. She's not. Nikki's good at playing games. She's not really good at being smart, being strategic. She knows how to play games. Give me a second. My bad. Okay. All right. So we're gonna move right along, and we're gonna read on Danielle Smith. Now, this is when we're getting into the maple leaf side of the reading. Okay. So we're reading on Danielle Smith, and you guys probably don't know who this is. So Danielle Smith is the premier of the province of Alberta. Now I know a lot of my followers in here are American. So the equivalent of a premier in America would be a governor. Okay. When we say the province, a province would be state, right? We have provinces in America is states. This, so we have in Canada, Alberta is a pretty, would be very equivalent to a very red state. Okay. They're very Canadian, very, it's what we call, it's cowboy and Indian country. You know what I mean? Very racist. Um, Never in history have we had this, but what we're having right now is that Danielle Smith has caused treason. Why she has caused, how she caused treason, that is that she actually, as a Canadian, being part of the Canadian government, went to the US government to get assistance in separation. So, what Alberta is looking to do is to separate from Canada, and that Alberta itself become an American state. Now, where this is a very crazy thing, because of course, Alberta carries a huge amount of our oil reserves. See, following me, right? A huge amount of our oil reserves. Okay. That's part of the reason why, too, Donald Trump wanted to be us to be the 51st state. Okay. Because of the oil reserves that we have in our provinces. Now, here's the kicker. In all the things that she tried to do, the land that she was trying to offer up to the Americans is treaty land. So, meaning the land is owned by the natives. Okay. So the shit ain't up for sale. Okay. So now they are calling for her to resign. And they now got the natives mad. And the chief said that he is more than happy to walk Danielle Smith herself to the border, if need be. So let's tap into what happens there. Because, listen, you're nothing worse. You ain't worse than your weakest link. You know what I mean? You gotta know if something or somebody becomes a liability, it's something that needs to be cut off like a cancer. You know what I mean? So let's see what is to come for Alberta, and if this is the way how America is going to end up finding a way to get in and taking over Canada. I'm going to be honest. As much as she went ahead and did this, I feel like there is another premier that was siding with her when she made the decision That's why she kind of went ahead and did it in the first place. What I do end up getting is that I do feel like there were some conversations that were had with America, but thankfully it wasn't anything too damaging to the point that we would have to suffer. We would have to worry about infiltration or anything like that, or being hacked or any of the case may be. I do actually see there's going to be a lot of protesting over the situation. I don't know. I keep on seeing fire. I'm seeing fire all over the place. But I do get the sense that she's going to end up escaping or leaving and going more East Coast. That's the energy that I'm getting. But I feel like at some point that she's going to end up around working with or working for the Americans. I do see. Because I just keep on seeing her like close to administration stuff. But it's funny that I feel like by the time that opportunity comes for her, it's like at a crumble of a campaign or at a crumble at a reign. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. You have to understand that when people are racist and anything that promotes anything to harbor and house their racism in comfort, they will go with that side without even thinking. One thing I can say about racists that racists stick with racist. And that's really what it has to be at the end of the day. It's not about the ethical things or the ethical reasonings of how America conducts our country or whatever the case may be. That's not even just that. It's just the whole thing on the racism aspect. Canada is one of those countries that we kind of have the whole thing where the immigrants make the country. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like here in Toronto, when they ask you where you're from, like we're not talking about like what area in the city. Usually when we say where are you from, we're not like we're trying to find out your ethnicity, like where your people's from. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of us are like first gen this or second gen this, you know what I mean? Um, Again, the immigrants make the country. Places like Alberta, you know what I mean? Especially because no one goes over to Alberta. Alberta's fucking cold. There isn't much. It's not much over there. Um, Except for people would go out to Alberta to make money because there was the oil rigs out there. You know what I mean? Um, they've been able to maintain the kind of demographic of people they want to see out there. You know what I mean? So it's very saturated when it comes to racist out there. Like I said, it's cowboys and Indians, you know? Um, so I think when it came to like the whole ice raid situation or whatever case may be, I feel like that was what was enticing for her. And the Albertans that are along with this cause, so to speak, is what I feel like they were enticed about. But I feel like she's just shot herself in the foot at the end of the day. Because I feel like she's given up some information that can be useful, but not a lot. But it's almost like she fell for temptation. You know what I mean? And she's not gonna be able to come back really from what she's caused because no one's gonna be able to trust her now. So let's move on from that. Another thing that we're gonna move on to right now, another topic, is the Black boys missing in Toronto. Okay, so we're going through a crisis here in the city of Toronto. Now, mind you, I wouldn't even say this is a city of Toronto only because I've also seen cases like this also in the United States of Black boys going missing. Now, in Toronto, we're not a huge city. You know what I mean? I think Toronto, our standard population right now is about 6 mil, and that's overall. Okay, so we're not just talking about the Black community, right? What or how much of us make up that population in the Black community? But I would say very heavily since last year, coming up to this year, a lot of boys between the ages of 13 and 17, Black, have been missing. Okay. I did do a reading on this situation a lot, and it has been confirmed when I picked up that a lot of these kids were being summoned into crime, okay, and committing crimes and things like that. Like they'll have the big boss and hire like a bunch of little punk little kids, whatever, in certain areas. Maybe you don't have nice things, not the fancy cars, or whatever the case may be. Okay, listen, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna show you how to jam this car. Okay, this part, whatever this costs this and this and X amount of dollars. You get that done, I'll turn around and I'll give you money. You know what I mean? A lot of times when it comes to these situations too, when it comes to these crime wars, and obviously to ensure that these kids don't rat them out or like fuck up the whole ring, what do? They find spaces and like outhouses that these kids stay at, and they commit these crimes. Okay, so we just dropped a documentary on that. Toronto then just dropped a documentary on that this past weekend, going into what's been happening with the gangs and whatever the case may be. So now that the documentary has dropped, let's see what happens from there. Okay. I do feel like some of the things that's going on is connected to government. You know what I mean? But most of all, what I do sense when it comes to situations like this, when it comes to these black boys in Toronto, there's a lot of crime lords over this. Okay. I get the sense that they're kind of looking at certain crime lords, but I don't know why the other day I was tapping in, I'm feeling Russian mafia. You know what I mean? I feel like there's like a hierarchy. You know what I mean? There's like a buildup of like stance when it comes to who and who is who and who is who. So it's like, okay, it may look like this guy, that there's a chain of command. You know what I mean? But I do get the sense that when it comes to this documentary dropping, it actually is not going to help for the situation. Is going to help for it to get worse. Because you got to consider that if there's certain gangsters that are involved in these situations, and people are being made more aware of what's going on, somebody's going to do something to stop it. Somebody's going to try to do something to stop it. And I feel like that's the conversation that's happening right now. I keep on seeing like table. How can we get these people to shut up about where they are? But I do feel like there's going to be a tip. There's one particular kid that's going to come out on the other side, and that child is going to be able to tell a story and tell a tip, and that's going to help bust open a lot of shit with this whole swing of black kids that I got missing. I say within the next 2 years, you're going to start to see a decrease with the situation. Because what's going to end up happening is that the flex is going to start to get old. So that's what I do see with the black boys in Toronto that I've gone missing. Any questions, y'all? You know I'm dehydrated when like I killed this bottle. It's almost done. I'm gonna just like bleach this whole bottle. All right. In Canada, not necessarily, because a lot of these kids that have gone missing are not deceased. For what I'm saying, I feel like there's a lot of the organ harvesting. I don't know why I keep getting it's like West Coast for you guys. You know what I mean? Hold on just a second. But I don't see a lot of that happening in Toronto, per se. Chris Cole. Give me a second, guys. I'm just letting my dog out. Okay. Give me a second. Get inside, man. Hold on. Prince, get in. I don't have time for that. Okay. Sorry, guys. One, I had to get my doggy. Two, I had to get my lip gloss. Um, no, not a lot of organ harvesting. Not from what I'm sensing with a lot of these cases. A lot of these cases is drugs, drug mules, drugs. Don't get me wrong. Some cases feel like they have their own personal stuff, but I feel like the actual epidemic, like the crisis of what continuously is happening, has to do with drug runners, drug gang stuff. All right. So we're gonna move into the grand finale now. The good stuff. The good shit. Don't mind me today. I may not be exactly. I feel like I've been so blasé in this reading, but I'm just trying to recover from this cold child. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I said. Okay. So we're moving into the Epstein files. The Epstein files, y'all. They have released the Epstein files. You know what's so crazy? Because when I'm looking at my readings that I've done over the last 8 weeks, I would say, it's like I've been talking about the same thing, but in different fonts. You know what I'm saying? I was supposed to talk about Melania, but I'll put that out. Yeah. But the Epstein files. So I already did a reading on the Epstein files. I moved into why I think the Epstein house, the connection with the house and the celebrities as to why they were going there. I will put it in the description box so you can actually see what I was reading on. So we're not going to touch on that aspect. Okay. Now what we need to talk about. Okay. So Jay-Z's been there, Pusha been there, whatever the case may be. I can sit down there and go into detail to every person that's been there, but I know that every fucking person is gonna be there because this is like a rite of passage place. You know what I mean? It's like going to a friggin' Mecca. It's like going to like a larger fucking a cabin camping weekend for them. So I am not surprised about who's been to the house. There's been tons of people, names that have not been mentioned. Almost every fucking person in the industry that was somebody has been to the Epstein house. And I think why they are doing this, because there was a point that Andrew Tate, is it Andrew Tate? Is that saying Andrew Tate? The one that's like the half breed guy, and he's like a millionaire. He's all like that alpha masculine. I think it's Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate made the most. He made such a great point, and I was like, okay. I go, yo, you put into words exactly what I've been feeling and knowing, but I just never see somebody put it into words for me. He was talking to somebody about Charlie Kirk, right? And he's like, very matter of fact, he's like, yeah, I know who killed him. You know what I mean? And he goes, like, he starts to go into why, making little comments as to why Charlie Kirk got killed or whatever. And he's like, it's like Candace Owens. You know what I mean? Why do you think they make Candace Owens yap her mouth off? Because at the end of the day, who cares to hear about the black girl's opinion? She's just a regular black girl that's going to be yapping her mouth with all her facts or whatever the case may be. Like, no one actually really cares to hear what the black person has to say. And I stopped. And in translation, it's like, in reality, we hide things in plain sight for you. But we know how to put the right amount of covering over things. so that you don't question too much, or that you don't actually see things for what they really are, or the truth of what it really is. Because at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? Look at where the information is coming from. So, for example, in this situation, okay, once you start seeing names come out of that fucking file, what? Oh, we're going to cancel him. We're going to cancel that. Oh, we're going to cancel. Oh my God, impeach Trump. If we are going to be outraged by what fucking happened at this Epstein house, that means we need to be outraged by every fucking body that's in the industry and every fucking public figure known to man right now needs to be impeached or incarcerated or whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to numbers, when it comes to loyalty, when it comes to notoriety, do you honestly believe we're going to have everybody have an anonymous vote or an opinion to get all these powerful people knocked off their thrones? No, that's not going to happen. They're going to find a way to twist this, even though they've given you what you want. So, in so many words, even though all these files have been exposed, and now we see what people have done, like literally blatantly, you literally saw a fucking file of your president measuring pussies. And you know what's so fucking crazy that you can't even deny this shit's not true? Because my fucking God, didn't you not own Miss Universe? But what does everybody think everyone's gonna do about it? And especially when they have this one, this one, this one. At the end of the day, Trump's gonna get away with this shit. It may not be physical justice, but there will be divine justice when it regards to the situation. But Trump was only doing what everybody else like him in this industry that have made millions, maybe even billions, have been doing. And this is just evidence of how sick this fucking world is and what really goes on behind the scenes. And everybody that you know that is powerful is doing. So it's really up to us as the people we choose to follow and what we choose to believe. But I'll be damn sure that there's gonna always be somebody that's gonna support these motherfuckers. So this shit will never stop. We're just becoming more aware, and what's gonna end up happening is things are gonna shift. Shift in such a way that those that oppress will start to feel the oppression. But the justice may not be the way that we feel like it needs to be. And that's the reality of it all. I feel like, for example, with Jay-Z and Pusha T, I feel like when it came with Jay-Z, I feel like it's going to be like a wash. Because based on the files that come out and what happens, I'm not exactly sure. See, this is where I feel like in some ways, man, this is probably going to work out in Diddy's favor, man. Because I feel like if they create one law for one thing, it might release somebody in another. So I'm going to be honest. Don't be surprised of a situation like this. If laws get twisted, then you're going to start to see some people that have been prosecuted under certain laws get released for it. Like, for example, Diddy got arrested for being freaky. Like, look what Diddy was doing. If you see what Diddy was doing, the infrastructure and the structure of how the Epstein was set up is the same shit that Diddy was doing. It's just like, at least you can give Diddy there wasn't that much minors in it. But why do you think Diddy would do such a thing like that? Where do you think that Diddy got that freak ass shit from? His higher up in his peers and people that he's connected to that are of the elite that are in the industry. Who are the people that betrayed Diddy? Why he's even being arrested in the first place? These white folk. These very elite type people. Like Ciroc. I never even knew that Diddy didn't own Ciroc. He was just the face of Ciroc all these years. See, a lot of us didn't even friggin' know that. All I gotta say is this. I feel like there's gonna be certain parts. The next couple of weeks, I feel like there's gonna be certain parts of the Epstein files that's gonna be highlighted. I definitely do see that happening. I do feel like there's gonna be one female energy or a person in the whole Epstein file situation that people would be surprised to know that was involved in the situation. I do feel like there will be talks of legal prosecution or whatever legal measures they be taken, but at the end of the day, I feel like something else is going to come along and distract the whole thing of what's happening, and people have to refocus back on America and the safety of thereof. So that's what I actually end up seeing with the Epstein files. But what they say happened, it happened. But everybody knows what it is. You know what I mean? Of course, when you come to the constitutions of certain laws that you have to abide by those certain laws, certain things need to be exposed. But this Epstein stuff has been going on for years, before even Epstein's time. Like back when Johnny was a boy. You know what I mean? Like, this is right past this bullshit. So that's what I get with that. Any questions? Yeah. Like, I see people want to be like, I'm like, I read on this already. I'm like, this is why this was. It's the sad truth, but it is what it is. Another distraction will come along, and it is what it is. This has been happening for years, girl. Like, this has been happening for years. It's like pigs in a slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. They're cute. You hate to hear them squeal, but at the end of the day, people want meat. People need bacon. People are going to protest. We can go vegan. We can do all those things, but people are still going to eat bacon. People are still going to like pork chops. And that's the unfortunate shit. But we will start to see those who are oppressed start to be oppressed. Because at the end of the day, and we're just not talking about like even in just death. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, sometime soon, we're gonna all be prosecuted, not prosecuted or seen as one people. Because when God decides when judgment comes upon us, we're not this guy and that guy. You're Jim and you're Bill. You're Bill just as much as I am Tia. I'm Tia just as much as you are Bill. And that's just the way it is. We're coming into a new era, guys. And we got to be prepared for the change that comes along with it. It is what it is. And with change comes expose. And with expose creates a whole foundation for a new direction. So, like I said, this year is going to be full of a lot of truth. A lot of people not lying. You know what I mean? But I don't feel like at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody's saying. Israel, even though Israel has been always running behind the scenes, they should have stayed behind the scenes because they're not going to be able to take over. It's not their portion to. I don't know. I just got that. Yeah, exactly. To something better. Exactly. Or foundationally in a way where, like it could go back to the grassroots at the end of the day, where the industry will crash. And for example, everybody will be able to be in control, one, and be able to, everyone will be their own in their own right. You know what I mean? But we're moving into a time before the pavement cracks, and the pavement cracks feels like we're on April. People are still people. I hate to seem like a Debbie Downer, but I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and tap in and be like, "Woo, this is what's gonna happen." I'm like, you know, we can go for the pizzazz and the oopsie oopsie and the woo woo woo, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the essence and the energy of things and how I read it, it's just like there's waves, there's distractions, there's ups, there's downs, there's covenant, there's a front. It just all depends on what part of the spectrum that you fucking like, right? So let's get into Melania. Oh, Melania. I don't care. I like her, because she really means well. Like she doesn't really. She has compassion for people, man. She really does, and she knows her husband is fucked up. She really, really does know that. But it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that, like, she didn't ask to be first lady. She just so happens to be first lady. You know what I mean? And I feel like she can't handle the weight of it all. You know what I mean? Because it's like she wasn't really built for all that judgment she's getting. You know what I mean? But you're gonna see her kind of like even though her movie's doing really bad right now, you're gonna see her do, like, for example, like she came up with this movie. Like you never even really see her do a lot of like interviews or things like that leading up to it to try to promote it. You know what I mean? Because she really doesn't even really want to be seen like that. But I get the sense that I think she's gonna do the backwards way where she's gonna try to go around and um and try to promote herself. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make a PR move where they are allowing her to be more open of where she opposes things as a wife to how her husband is running this country. You know what I mean? Because I don't know why I feel like they're gonna try to play and be tricky with favorability. Because if you notice in the last week since the ICE thing happened, a lot of the PR that they've been doing on Donald Trump is him being comical. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we can't show the likability of his nice side of him being smart, so let's just show the funny side of him. You know what I mean? So that you start to like him again. Because again, if we want to really look at it realistically, what made everyone start voting for what made everybody actually trust Trump in voting for a second term again? Not because, of course, I'm not going to lie, Kamala Harris was the strongest candidate, so to speak. I guess when it comes to the people that he was up against, why he didn't make it so hard. But one of the biggest things why people wanted to vote for Trump again was because of his personality. It was because of his campaign run. And how comical he was being and how funny he had everyone feeling and everyone thought that he's changed and oh my god, he seemed like he was such a nice guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, she got 40 mil for that movie. But it only did like what, 6 mil in the box office or something? Some crazy ass number. They did some crazy ass number. But she didn't do the promo for it. She should. But at the end of the day, that's Amazon's fault because it wasn't, I don't think it's her movie. I think Amazon did the movie and they just paid her. You know what I mean? They go, why does no one give me 40 mil for a movie, child? I'll show you movie, child. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, the next couple weeks you're gonna see some trickery around the PR stuff when it comes to her. I feel like Donald Trump is gonna really be like trying to put his hand in it. So it's like, no, make my wife's movie be like it's something. The Epstein, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, they met in some bullshit because I don't feel like he met Melania in the most conventional, nice way. Like, yeah, she met her in that. Melania was. I feel like Melania was like, how can I say it? Melania's giving. She's giving like. Oh, Melania's giving like take you home for the weekend type, like girlfriend experience type, like pay for the weekend. Me and the friends Jimmy are going to St. Bart's. How about you come along, bring a friend? She gives that. She gives that girl. So yeah, I feel like they're gonna do that, but I swear, man, something's happening in April. Something's happening in April. I feel like there is going to be a shift of some sort. Like, I just feel things coming to a screeching halt. So I guess we should gear up and figure out how with that, and hang tight when it comes to that. But I see things coming to a screeching halt. Yeah. Ugh. Um, but any question, guys? Any questions before we move into the summary? Let me blow my nose. Ciao. Ciao, boo. Thank you. It's a good amount of you guys today. I guess I should be coming on the evenings more often. Oh, I told you he's for after April. After April, screeching. Halt. If he dies and they treat this friggin' funeral like it's the queen dying, I swear to God, bro. Oh, if Trump's dying, there are gonna be a lot of riots. Eh? Hey, that man's not gonna go out quiet. Hey, you're gonna see looters, all types of shit. It's gonna be fucking insane. I don't know. It's giving as much as Trump will talk shit about Somalia, that that America's gonna probably experience that for a little quick second, where it feels like America has no damn president. Oh, child, America, we have a problem. I'm telling you something else. I'm sick, you sick, bitch. But guess what? It's all good. Any questions before I move on to the summary? And let them make it higher. I can't even sing. I'm gonna try that. Name is. I know. You having a person? Oh my god. I'll come. I'll come. I'll bring the charcuterie board and some rum and edibles. I will listen to Beyonce. I love that make it higher than this. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, we're gonna move into the summary because I gotta be honest, guys. I love you guys so much, but I got this cold here. I'm not feeling my bestest. But my job is to serve the people and give them what they want. So I try to pull through. Anything on JD Vance? Oh my god! I'm not gonna lie. Even though people would poke fun, I really do feel like he had something going on with Erica Kirk. I've never read on her personally. I just thought about that. Like something going on with Erica Kirk for sure. Yeah. Oh God, them eyes. I keep seeing his eyes looking at her. There's definitely something going on there. Girl, you gonna see some Erica Kirk on some straight Jezebel shit too. And listen too, she's all tied in and connected to this Epstein bullshit too. What do you think how she knows? So she knows Trump well. Okay? She's another one, Erica Kirk. That's the problem with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk made the vagina turn him full. Like literally. He made her get the best of him. Oh, poor thing. Mm, I think Charlie, like we know Charlie Kirk has been catching on to everything that's going on. Yo, listen, man. All I'm saying, yo, like America's a sneaky place when it can be. Oh, she hates Candace's guts because she knows Candace is not stupid. And she knows Candace can see right through her. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to Erica Kirk and Trump, it's giving like rich baby daddy. Like I got my rich baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like how Kanye West used to say about Drake. Like Drake got a rich baby daddy. Like, yeah, he got a rich baby daddy. They know her very well. It's just a sick game there. It's like things are gonna be exposed about Erica, but it's just like what's really gonna get done? Because I just feel like she works for the folks, and that's just what it is. And she's willing to do whatever and whatever for the folks. It's giving like intern. It's giving Della's wearing Prada, and she's the girl that was working for the lady. Like it's giving all of that. But anyways, let's move into the summary. Okay, so overall, I feel like over the next couple months, I feel like again, Spirit keeps on using the word assembly. You know what I mean? So when I'm saying assembly, I get the sense that what Spirit's showing me is like there is just gonna be a display of a number of different performances, acts, whatever the case may be, that's gonna transpire between now and the next 3 months. Okay. It feels to me when we get to like mid of like February, that's when things start to quiet down, and it feels like people are going to try to glaze over a lot of the controversy that's happening and create a wave of things that kind of relate to more things in entertainment. But that makes sense because I guess the Oscars are coming up and also the Grammys is as well, right? So that makes a lot of sense because you won't be surprised that this year that they'll be over pushing it. Like you remember, like last year, or last couple of years, it feels like no one was really talking about the Grammys like that. Like they're gonna over be pushing music, over pushing entertainment, over pushing what's going on. But it's just to kind of distract everybody from what's going on in politics, so that they have a chance to regroup. You know what I mean? Because what I actually do see up behind it happening, especially when it comes to America, I feel like something is gonna end up getting. I feel like word is going to get back to their table. You know what I mean? So, for example, where it's like da 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 da, we're in a classroom. It's so funny because when I said assembly, they're showing me assembly like school, as in school assembly. You know what I mean? But it's like it's giving like where the teacher is on break, and everyone's going crazy and throwing paper planes and throwing like paper balls and whatever the case may be. And out of nowhere, a student comes in from the office, and that one student is given a pink slip. And now they have to go down to the office for detention. Like that's the energy that's happening to the United States. It's like something's coming on the desk that they didn't see coming, and it's like, okay, now we need to fucking retreat. Because I don't know why I keep on seeing a lot of like troops being pulled back. Like I feel like a lot of troops being pulled back. I see like moose, whatever was being set up secretly is being pulled back. So like remember I said this before, like I feel like there's gonna be plans that Trump will have, but they're gonna like he's gonna be giving people too much time to prepare. You know what I mean? Because he'd be distracted by so much. Like that's the energy of happening. Because to be honest, even though like he keeps talking about invading Greenland, I already feel like there is troops and stuff that's surrounding Greenland in some way. You know what I mean? That he already has set up there in some way. And I think that I'm not sure if certain people didn't know these operations are happening. And it's kind of like, okay, now we know you did that. Okay, now this pink slip is going to your desk. And it's like, okay, fuck, we need to fucking gotta pull everything in. You know what I mean? But again, rest assured, like I said, I feel like ICE raids, especially in all states, we should be put to a halt, especially by March. And I feel like it's a financial thing. I feel like they feel like at the end of the day, as effective as they may think it is overall, just for the country, it's not feasible. It's where there's certain things that are weakening, they need more attention, and I feel like that's what's going to be their reasoning. Because to be honest, they're going to need a lot of attention. Because in reality, they have pissed some people off that they weren't expecting to piss off, and that's going to cause for them to have to kind of be on their p's and q's and not be playing games with other people right now. Because strength is the numbers. They don't want to get ganged up and get fucking jumped. You know what I mean? But I think overall, I do see some deaths. I know we just recently lost a legend, but I do see two more deaths that are coming up when it comes to the celebrity world. But overall, the summary and what Spirit's saying that the essence and the energy is right now is under like the Arisha Ogun. He goes, that's why you're seeing a lot of war, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of fire, a lot of metal that is happening right now. But we are about to move into, especially by second week of February, we're moving into Achosi energy. So all things that do with swift justice, forestry, things like that. So we're going to see a lot of like swift justice happening. We're going to see a lot of things coming out from the woodworks, information, hunting, things like that. I keep on hearing indigenous as well. Indigenous information, I don't even know what that means. Indigenous information. I would say indigenous information would say like things coming into parables. Things coming to the surface. Scenarios, situations, and things that are coming to the surface that we've overlooked. You know what I mean? We've been seeing a lot of things happening, but not really questioning the root as to why and who's behind them all. And not just who's behind them all, how did they end up being behind it all? Is what I'm seeing. So that's the summary, guys. This was the January end of the month recap. Also, if you guys want to get a private reading with me, you guys can hit me up in my inbox, either through my email or on my IG. Again, if you guys want to get celebrity psychic readings or the latest on celebrities, I do readings on my Instagram and my TikTok. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you follow me on TikTok so you guys can get the latest on what's going on with celebrities and scenarios in the media as we speak. In the name of Jesus. All right, so I'm going to close off this live right now. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. And I do want to thank you guys so much for your time and rocking with me. May God bless you and the angels protect you. Good night.